So for the black, what you're trying to do is keep the black part about a centimeter or a bit more, somewhere between a centimeter and a centimeter and a half, or half an inch if you prefer, above the white. And you want to keep it the same distance all the way. And again, I'm going to just skip this part here for now. I'll touch that up after. Just going to start here. So you start at the back, you keep the scissors parallel to the white part, and you just work your way to the front. If you want, you can use your finger every now and then just to see if you're keeping it parallel, but with a bit of practice, you can pretty much just do it by eye. If you have a horse with a particularly thick mane, which this one doesn't have, you may find that you have to do the black in 2 passes, because if you do it all at once, it just ends up squishing the hair forward and then it ends up all jagged. Now, one technique here is, one thing you do want to be careful of is when you're cutting that you don't push the hair forward, because if you push it forward like I'm doing here and then cut it, when it jumps back, it's going to be taller. So to avoid doing that, make sure that as you cut, that you, if the hair starts to move forward, move the scissors back as you're cutting. Just cut very slowly, there's no rush. Now, one thing to watch out for too is that as you get to the front, you get this nice curve, and then sometimes if you lift the halter up, suddenly that turns into a ski jump. So what you need to do is lift the halter up and just touch it up. It doesn't happen so much on this horse, but it does on some. So that's the black. It's pretty much right. Now, before we move to actually cutting the other side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet the other side and comb it up. Now, what that has done is it's pushed all the white hair on the other side up, and we can make sure that we cut it level with the black hair by just cutting off any white hair we see. It sticks up above the black hair. And we'll see in a minute why that's important. Okay, I'm just going to finish the back here as well. If your horse doesn't wear a blanket or it's summertime, you don't really have to worry about this, but so I'm just going to push this up and cut it to roughly the right shape. Okay, and now we're going to go to the other side and do the other side with me. Alright, here we are at the other side. You can see there's a few clippings that were left there from doing the first side. Let me just brush those off. And the other side's still damp from a few minutes ago, but I'm just going to add a little bit more just to make sure. Clean everything up. And there we go. Now, this side is actually quite easy. You already have the shape of the mane right. All you need to do is cut, just like on the other side where you cut the black, just a centimeter higher than the white. You want to do the opposite here. You just want to cut the white a centimeter lower than what you've got altogether. You just start at the front and work your way to the back. Now with some horses, the white hair and the black hair are very well separated, and it's easy to get the scissors in behind the white and not get any of the black. And with other horses, they're a little bit more intertwined, so you have to do a lot of little jigglies to get the scissors in behind the white hair. And you'll still end up cutting off a few black hairs. And it doesn't really matter because most of the ones where they are intertwined like that, they have a really thick black part anyway. So it doesn't matter if you cut a few black hairs off with the white. There are some horses where the black is very thin and it's intertwined, and if you're not careful, you can end up cutting a hole in the black part. And the best way to mitigate the damage from that is to cut only a little tiny bit at a time. Because if you only have a little narrow hole, then you can comb it over and you never see it. She's quivering a little bit because there are a couple of flies that have come out. Sometimes they'll quiver after you've brushed the mane up. If your brush was too wet, there'll be water running down their neck, and that will set them shaking because they think it's flies. So if that happens, just brush the water off. Always keep a good idea in your head of where the horse's feet are and where they're moving, because you're standing with your toes right in front of her feet. So I'd suggest steel-toe boots or just being alert. She's not going to step on your feet on purpose, but she could by accident. Especially if she's very fidgety. Getting to the back here, the white is very thin, so I have to very carefully hold it while I slip the scissors in behind it. And then again, here's the messed up stuff in the blanket. We'll just do the best we can here to make the shape right. Okay, so we've done that. Comb it up again. And look for bumps in other places where you didn't get it quite the right shape. Like here, for instance, there's quite a bump. Sometimes it's a little difficult to do the beginning here because the horse's ears are in the way. On the halter. Just touch everything up. Get any hairs that you missed. You want it to look nice and sharp when it's done, not fuzzy and indistinct. A couple hairs here that I keep missing. Then just stand back and take a look. So that takes care of the mane.